Hi, welcome to the Mindless Jabber podcast. I'm Dylan Mitchell.
I'm Madeline Woodhouse.
I'm Dylan Mitchell.
I'm Tali Hyatt.
And I'm a baked potato.
And I'm Tia Salad.
So we just recorded our first gaming session. I was going to put it on the podcast, but I think I've decided that I'm going to just record a 10-minute video that's separate. Yeah. So Mindless Jabber plays XCOM.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
Can we do more of that?
Yeah.
Different games, stuff like that. Ethan will be sad.
I think
if we got some recommendations as well.
Ethan, Dylan's son.
Any games that anyone else would like us to play?
If you guys know of any decent couch co-op games, then tweet us at Mindless Jabber. And
before anyone recommends Never Alone, which is great, it's only 2 players.
Yeah.
So it won't work.
Four players.
So I mean, XCOM is a one-player game that we play 4 players.
Yeah.
Right. Because
with turn-based, so that makes it easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas Never Alone is really just 2 players that can be played as a one-player game.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty full set, as you can see.
We have all of us. We brought Maddie back with the Dragon Balls.
No
Ethan
still. But we'll bring him back one day.
If we feel like it.
Actually, we're working
Sorry, man. When you see this in the future, we just... Like, have you seen all this?
We're working
on
something...
Stand up, Maddie. Stand up. Let them take a gander
you don't need
at what Tom was missing out on.
We're working on something at the moment which involves all of us.
So confused.
It's going to be a good thing.
It's okay to be confused. She's very attractive.
Maddie,
she has that effect on most people.
Just so you know, Maddie was trapped in a parallel dimension, so was unavailable for all of the events, and has just been brought back at the beginning of this podcast because it didn't require the Dragon Balls. She's just like, what the fuck has been going on? I've been eating this Neapolitan ice cream that's custard, pistachio, and chocolate fudge, and apparently there are 4 quadruplets, and suddenly I'm back here. What is going on?
On the plus side, though, I did get a lot of baking done, so we have enough bread for about 6 years.
Actually, we
nice.
Need that. I'm gonna have to bleep out those names that you spouted out about people who aren't on the podcast.
What the quadruplets are on the? Sorry, the twins are on this podcast.
The beep.
They've been
All right.
on here.
Wait.
They've been on here.
One of them has. I hate you so much.
Dylan, you really have a tendency to be a serious blood.
Okay, so let's start with Maddie. How have you been? Pregnant.
Yeah, pregnant.
Prego!
Fuck off.
The Prego.
Bleep it out. Dylan's favorite person, now Maddie.
No, it's still Tom.
I got a job at a kitchen, which I'm really fucking psyched about.
Sweet.
I get to cut shit up, cook shit up, and serve shit up.
And occasionally make food.
It means that I can afford a new knife that I've been paying off ever so fucking slowly.
For the stabbing.
How much is a knife that you have to pay off?
Yeah.
The knife that I'm buying is a Ran.
Keyblade.
No, it's a Ran. It's very similar to a Shun knife, if any of you are knife nerds.
So just a bunch of normal words.
It's a $400 knife.
It's a good knife.
Yeah.
Holy
I'd
balls.
probably cut my hand off with it.
You
because
probably would.
I somehow seem to cut my fingers a lot in the kitchen.
I would just go all Ninja Samurai and just start trying to cut random stuff that shouldn't be cut.
I would probably...
the pole on the lighting and stuff.
Oh god, I would punch you in the face so hard. Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
When I use
I'm gonna buy
knives,
one just for the next podcast and be like, hey Maddie.
just get some timber.
And you just hear one of the lighting rigs just collapse.
When I'm at home, I'll use the knives and I'll be there, and you know when you cut an onion, you go, and she would just be there going,
no.
What you do?
You're chopping very hard with that knife, and I'm like, because I need to cut through things, and she's like,
no, that's not
Stop
how you
knifing so hard with my knife, motherfucker.
On the plus side, I just got my sharpening stone back. I haven't had for
Sharpening stone.
4 or 5 months. So tomorrow is just a whole day of excitement for me because I get to sharpen every knife in the house. Motherfuckers beware.
Well, I guess
regular.
I've had a good.
Hey,
I've had a good week.
I'm gonna change something on the mic. Oh, by the way, guys, you don't need to shout. It's a very sensitive mic.
Yeah, we're inside.
Okay.
Stop saying
That's
motherfucker.
Better. It's better. Okay.
He has to make it out every time.
Alright. Tali, how have you been?
I have been good. I started playing...
She has, corduroy pants. I was just like doing that thing.
Everybody touch Tali's pants.
Everybody stop Tias from doing anything ever. Tias, you're off. Out. Out. Never again.
Go home, Tias.
We need to tag Simon into this. He's in the next room killing all our characters in XCOM.
No, he's not killing my character.
So
I have been playing New Vegas.
Oh!
I started last night when I was really tired.
When we finish
So
this,
Fallout New Vegas.
when we finish this, I should show you how it runs with the Oculus.
Oh god.
Do you have mods as well? Do you have your PC?
Well, no, on PlayStation. So I bought the Unlimited just because
Cheap.
it was cheap, and and I bought it with Ratchet and Clank, one of the games that I.
Oh my god, I've been meaning to play that series.
Have you not played it?
I have not played it. It's been on my to play list.
Oh my god, play the whole thing.
Just, I'd like, Tias, why do you want to play Ratchet and Clank?
Because it's a.
I read a Reddit article about, hey guys, I reckon the Ratchet and Clank civilization may be the most advanced civilization of all time, and I'm like, I'm going to read the Wikipedia article on the civilization they live in. They compare it to the culture from Ian Banks' culture novels. I'm going to add Ian Banks' culture novels to my list of things to read, and the Ratchet and Clank games to my list of games to play.
Which you've since addressed that issue. You've read a couple of. Yes, no, we know the books. For the readers,
probably going to go get books or something.
This is why we don't.
Yeah, I bought a book. I bought a book.
Okay.
I can't find it. They moved it. Those fuckers.
Tom, how have you been? Keep it short.
Yeah, I've been well.
Cool. Tias?
Good.
You fuck.
I also have been good.
Dominating conversation.
How's the how's the diet going for you?
It's really good.
Because I leftovers of that pizza last night.
My last weigh-in.
Really
He's
delicious.
only lost 3 lives.
My last weigh-in,
And
I was back in the 80s, which is good for me because I usually stick around 90s. I think my body.
Is this a time travel joke?
See, this is the thing, is I find it hard to believe that you'd be hanging out in the past, like hanging out in the 60s or the 50s.
No.
I imagine you hanging out like 2040 and you're there, in Apocalypse with a laser rifle.
Yeah, no.
Get your hands off my shun knife!
Get out of my kitchen, bitch!
Today's Anzac Day.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did want to say that today is Anzac Day. This is actually.
Can we have a pretend cut out minute? Well, not pretend, but
No,
cut out minute of silence.
Have you if you ever see
And we're back.
If you ever see the Americans, they do a moment of silence. Anzac Day is important to me, and it's serious.
Because of any would you like to take the audience through why it is specifically important to you?
No.
Okay.
I went to Gallipoli once. I was there during the dawn service, and since that moment, I have been basically forever changed on my opinion of the day. Because you kind of, I don't know, it's weird when you're in the place where it actually happened. You kind of get you get a feeling.
I can understand that. I didn't fully appreciate Anzac Day until I went to and I saw my partner Tom march in the Anzac Day march, and from that moment, actually seeing somebody who was in that and close to me, close to you, having that amount of pride is untoppable.
Yeah.
And affiliating that with what happened and the whole meaning for Anzac Day is...
For those who don't know, Anzac means Australia New Zealand Army Corps, and it's basically Australia and New Zealand's version of what Americans call Remembrance Day, which is the 11th of November. It's just basically the origins of it was when the Anzacs landed on a bay called Gallipoli Bay in Turkey. In the First World War. They were up against completely insurmountable odds. The logistics were completely stuffed up. They landed on the wrong beach and were basically cut down wave after wave by Turkish machine guns. But they still kept fighting. And I don't know, it's weird that it's kind of a little bit different to what America does, because they seem to, with the wars that they lose, I think they kind of just ignore it.
Yeah.
And
they get this rug, right, and they
sweep it. Yeah.
Just everything under the rug.
Yeah, there you go.
And
they're we haven't lost a war. What are you talking about?
And the Australians and the New Zealanders, we're proud of what our ancestors grandfathers, great-grandfathers, they just kept fighting and they kept going regardless of...
It's about respecting the sacrifice that people have made to defend the way of life that we are able to live today. Like, we are incredibly privileged to live in the world we live in now. And like, personally, I have weird feelings about, like, you know, where we come from with, like, pacifism and the amount of money that's spent on military spending.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But then you realise that everything that we have, right, from tables to chairs to freaking, you know, infrastructure, is all based on the fact that someone somewhere has gone, nope, this will not stand. Gallipoli was about standing for that, standing for something, standing for a reason, and going, you know, they were at the wrong beach, they were fighting in the wrong position, but they stood up and they went, no, you know, we are still going to stand, we are proud, and
we're still going to try.
Well, that's why I think I respect it so much, is because they, like, we have the privilege of being able to say, yes, even Australia, we spend too much money on the military. Too much of our general life is directed into that basically cause for violence. But when you sign up for the army or the navy or the air force, it's not, you're thinking about your life and not the overall picture, I'm guessing.
But back then, it wouldn't be your life that you were thinking about.
Oh, definitely.
Back then, it was like you were thinking about
you were thinking
the
about
country.
It was completely patriarchal.
But it's very different.
Patriotic.
Being able to protect.
I messed up words. Baby brain.
Yeah, you think about the fact that you're protecting those, you know, back home. You're doing your responsibility. You don't think about the economics behind it and that sort of stuff. Like, whilst we may not approve of the amount of government spending towards the military, we still respect each and every individual who is willing to put their own life on the line for the defense of other people.
Hell yeah. And like when I march, I remember I usually march either in Melbourne or Sydney. And coming up towards the Shrine of Remembrance here in Melbourne, and you're walking along, and I remember some P90s flew overhead. What are they? Red planes. P90, anyway. Flew overhead, and it was at that point there, and I could see there was a stall on the side, and there's a whole lot of old veterans sitting there and watching us come up. And my place there, I felt incredibly proud because I was no longer Thomas Baino, leading aircraftsman Blackman Bishop. I was a member of the Royal Australian Air Force, and like, I became part of something bigger. And that's definitely a feeling you get with all that. And I think that with those people in Gallipoli or Tobruk or, you know, any armed services, you know, my mother currently overseas, it's not her over there fighting war. You know, she's a clerk as a medic. You know, she's working in the medical corps as a clerk. It is about her being part of something bigger and achieving something bigger. Every position has it. You know, it was really hard being in the Defence Force and having people come along and go, oh, you're in the Air Force, you a pilot? And I'm like, no, I'm not a pilot. I was a
Are you making fun of my sister really specifically in this sentence?
No, I'm not.
All right, cool.
No, I was a CE tech, and their faces would sag. But then, you know, as you know, Maddie knows and I know, and if you have, you know, defence family and you understand how this works, you know, for every pilot, there's 10,000 people that support an individual pilot. And that pilot would not be able to get in the air and do their job if it wasn't for those 10,000 people. And any one of those people...
Including chefs? Including band members?
Yeah.
Like, I was actually considering joining the Navy as a saxophone player.
Oh, that's right, because he plays saxophone.
And I nearly joined the Navy... I nearly joined the Air Force as a linguistics officer, and then I found out that you can't take the test to become a linguistics officer without joining the Navy and committing to... Was it 4 or 6 years at the time?
6 years.
Yeah, it was
For
6.
what you were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I was going to join for officer training.
Yeah.
And having not yet studied linguistics in any formal fashion, I just said I can't, like, assume that I'm good enough at this to join the Air Force. Little did I know I was going to end up in a PhD.
Yeah.
But this was literally before I even did my undergrad in linguistics, so it's just like, I suspect I might be good at linguistics.
On the plus side, Tias, now your hair's quite short, so if you had to get in an aeroplane as a psychologist or even as a linguist, and you flew upside down...
Actually, there's no psychologist training in the Air Force, it's only in the Army.
Well, not anymore even. Like, it's all gone subcontractor, that's a different thing altogether. Yeah, no. Do we want to take a moment? Take a minute out? Tias has a little clock.
10:39.
Well, just a moment.
Well,
which
just
is
shut
like
up
10
then.
seconds, so. Okay. You guys hear? I assume, I think most Australians hear the stories about ANZACs and about how like people fighting alongside ANZACs. Like everyone wanted to fight alongside the Aussies and the Kiwis, and everyone hated fighting against the Aussies and the Kiwis because they just never gave up. And I think that's weird that because you don't really hear about that with other nationalities, and I want to be skeptical about it. I want to be yes, okay, I'm sure they didn't fight as any differently than any other nationality, but from childhood in Australia and New Zealand, you basically get it just jammed in. And I went
because you've got to deal with the wildlife, drop bears especially.
Well, to be fair, back then, they were
bigger. Yeah, drop bears weren't even endangered back then.
Yeah.
Half of what our military does is hunt down the drop bear population.
Good job, though.
Yeah, I mean, outside of wartime. Obviously, during wartime, they're dedicated, and I don't want to even pretend to joke about the idea that our military would be spending time doing anything in Australia when there's an actual war going on. But when there's no war, drop bears pretty much
serious problem.
Pretty much number 8 priority behind
refugees.
Refugees, poor people, women. Other refugees that aren't refugees technically anymore, but they're still recognised as refugees.
Tony Abbott's neighbours.
Tony Abbott's neighbours. Other refugees
The Wiggles.
by other classifications, the Wiggles and bees. I mean, they just drop bears.
Drop bears, very important.
Yeah.
But my point was that a lot of the conscripts from Australia and New Zealand were people who were sent out to rural areas that are extremely hard to live in. Country Victoria is not a easy
Pleasant
place to form a life.
Oh, it can
And
be
these people are going out. They're creating their own farms. They're living off what they have, and then they've been sent into the army. So you've got some hard they're in our world. They're probably bogans, and we would probably not.
But their
generally not
general
talk to them,
attitude, though,
but
is pretty
fucking hard.
optimistic and
Yeah.
kind of it's fucking hard, but hey, there's opportunity for beer. I've got a picture of a pretty lady,
And I can stab Tony Abbott's neighbours.
they're optimistic about the things
I
that
think
they can
it's-
look forward to.
I think it's two different genres. I think there's really hardcore people that just are very optimistic, what you're saying, and then there's the country woman, the country club out there, not just specifically women, but just the knitting groups and the everything's fine under the table,
Like the Americans of Australia.
Yes, and they're definitely out in the country with their picket fences and their roses and
their nice
there.
little tennis outfits.
Yep, and then they're
their chef
sweeping
haggam.
everything else under the rug, and that's about I think that's two different. There's
Very
I've
different.
always felt that there are country people and there are bogans, and you get bogans in the city,
Yeah.
right? And for those playing at home, bogans are our chavs and rednecks.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Hi.
This part of the episode is brought to you by TS's inability to hold alcohol.
If you want TS's inability to hold alcohol, I'm
Just
afraid.
dual wheel drinks before the podcast.
Excellent. So, a lot of
Yeah, I was going to say, if you need TS's inability to hold alcohol, then you can't have it, ever.
Can't.
No one in this world can ever have that.
It's his.
So,
But the
suck
answer
it.
is dual wheel drinks before the podcast.
You're special.
double fisting.
Tali.
Okay, so Tali,
back me up on
Tali-
this. Back me up on this. Dual wielding drinks before the podcast.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, she brought this up.
So Tali
You have a story.
She
I
wants
have
to
a
talk
story.
about something.
I have a story. I heard it on the radio, which I found very weird.
The
Not
machine?
just the listening to the radio, but the story.
The fact that radio
Radio
still
doesn't
exists.
exist.
Yes, the radio still exists.
Yeah, because video killed the radio star. And
Yeah,
without the radio star,
Hence the vodcast. So, I heard this story about a school in Melbourne, I believe, that has banned girls from running and participating in sports.
What?
Because
That sounds like the kind of progressive nation we are.
Because they might lose their virginity.
What the fuck?
Because they might break their hymen.
Good on
That's
you.
not the same thing. Do we need to
The
send
Abbott
people-
government succeeds again.
Actually,
Cheers.
No. I think that we need to send them to sexual education because I don't think they know what virginity is.
No, it's true though.
You can
Virginity
lose
is the hymen. Like that is
No.
If you have a hymen, you have a virginity.
No. Virginity. Losing your virginity is after the first penetrative sex.
How do you test
but
for the loss of virginity?
What about
If you
lesbians?
accidentally lose your hymen, you accidentally lose your
you can lose
virginity.
your-
It's not a
no.
matter of rape.
You can lose your hymen for multitudes of reasons,
Audience,
especially
please,
in
you know,
this
what about
fucking
girls?
day
have an
and
opinion on
age.
this.
What about girls? What about lesbians? If they never have sex with a man, are they still a virgin their whole life?
Technically, yes. No.
I disagree.
Unless, like,
Yeah.
There are other ways
yeah,
to
like,
penetrate
yeah.
a vagina. I just had to put some emphasis in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the,
You don't
they
put
only-
emphasis in there. You just put a penis in
to
there.
play devil's
That does
avocado for a second
Oh,
here, the
dildos.
idea is
Oh, dildos.
don't run or you might lose your hymen, which would be the same as
So,
penetrative
wait.
anything of any
So,
other
So
kind.
we need to argue about it.
wait,
Yeah,
no.
we're not
I
arguing.
think I fully understand this. We want to make all girls in Australia so obese that nobody will ever want to sleep with them, so they will be forever virgins.
Yep. They're trying to reduce the
What about guys
reproduction rate.
who are fatty chasers?
Nope, can't happen.
no.
Don't pat
They-
your stomach
no.
when you say fatty cheese.
Those
One, it makes you sound like
those
you're
men
one of
are
those
in
people.
luck. I don't like. You may say nope, but the
They're
answer
always
is
virgins, so.
yep.
That is so weird. Did you hear? How did this come about? Do you?
How
So
did
it's
this
a, it's a
happen?
religious school.
Oh, okay.
So was it just?
Is it-
Oh,
this
so this
changes
conversation's
the whole thing.
complete. Like
Yeah.
we don't need to discuss
That's
this any
pretty
further.
much it.
So
So that's why I
basically-
knew
Oh,
that
they're
it was
wrong?
Be quite
Oh,
short.
they're
It's a
religious.
religious school.
That's fucked.
And that's it.
That's fucked up.
Just wanted
Yeah.
that to be out
Take
there
it-
so
take
people
it
know.
too far.
So, cheers.
Wait,
Cheers.
wait.
Quickie review.
Can
Sorry?
I?
Quickie review.
I think they're going too far.
Yeah.
I think girls should be allowed to participate in sports.
Yeah, girls should definitely be able to participate in sport, and I think that this school should be sued.
You know how some people
My-
can
my
participate
quick
in
review?
sports? That.
My quickie review is that's
Sexism.
fucked.
Sexism.
Mine is just let's just save those poor women.
So if
Why
you
did
run a
nobody
school,
think of the
Tia,
you
children?
can offer a place to these
Female
girls.
children.
Tom,
Needs a quickie review.
Well, no, my review is simply if that's how you choose to raise your children, then good for you. There's a school in Melbourne which allows you to stop your daughter participating in sport in case her hymen broke. Speaking of other ridiculous things, I had the beautiful opportunity to watch Over the Garden Wall with my friends, and if you at home haven't seen Over the Garden Wall, you really, really should.
This is like the
Especially if
greatest
you hear
segue ever.
If you appreciate the word molasses, you will love this show.
One
So,
episode.
if
No.
you like potatoes.
One
Tom,
episode.
Oh yeah, if you like the word potatoes, you will love
I
this
love
show.
potatoes. I just
You
love
will love
potatoes.
this show.
Wait.
will love
Do you
the
love
show.
potatoes and molasses?
I
Because
don't
if you
actually
can't
know
see
what
that, then
molasses
put on your
is.
glasses. But you will love it.
Tom showed us this cartoon recently called
It's called Potatoes
Over-
and Molasses. That's the name of the show.
called Over the Garden Wall.
Google potatoes and molasses. You will find the show.
featuring Frodo Baggins
Yeah.
and
And Doc Brown.
Doc Brown, and it's very very esoteric.
It's
If
very
you don't know.
interesting was how
It's
It's beautiful.
It's
Oh.
abstract. I'm not a huge fan. Like I watched 2 episodes and it was sort of like it was a little bit too over the garden wall for me.
I can verify this. Dylan watched 2 episodes.
Yeah.
and he went over that garden wall.
Oh no! I
So
got
that's
that
um,
part.
Over the
That's a
garden
very
wall is-
internal thing.
The garden wall is a metaphor for death. You didn't die.
So that was
Maddie and Ethan.
That's
that was
what
a
I mean.
Cartoon
We've
Network
been over the garden
internal
wall.
thing, right?
Sorry?
That's Cartoon Network, right?
That, oh yeah, I think it is. I think it is
Yeah.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And
So
that.
You're thinking
I
of too many
figured I'd
clips.
ask while we're on this subject. What's let's say, give me a favorite cartoon from childhood and favorite cartoon now.
That's hard.
Well, let's go around this way, so I have a decent amount of time to decide. Favorite cartoon from childhood: Digimon,
All right.
not Pokemon.
Does it have to
Not
be a
the same
movie or
thing.
a TV show?
What, cartoon. It has to be animated.
Anastasia. For
Oh,
both.
interesting.
Yeah.
My childhood one was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I have an overarching one, which transcends both of these questions.
Yeah.
Now,
Which
Dylan
is-
was like 9 years old at the beginning of the 80s, so it still does count.
Yeah.
Wait, so
I was born in 82. Anyway, so
9 years old.
from
Born
from the
as a
80s,
9-year-old.
from my childhood, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But the overarching one that transcends everything is The Simpsons.
That's what I'd argue. Yeah, for you, it's definitely The Simpsons. If you said it wasn't, like, I'd call you a liar.
And
Yeah.
same thing, you should be calling me a liar if I don't say The Simpsons.
Well, yeah,
when I get to
because
the
we've been
adult
watching
thing.
it. We've been watching it our whole lives, and it's yeah.
I've never loved The Simpsons. Sorry.
no,
sorry.
neither mind.
Charlie,
You son of a-
childhood.
My childhood was probably Transformed.
Wait, guys.
Was probably. Why does this all keep happening to me?
Okay, Tyler.
You're right.
We're here for you.
I want you to be.
Take a moment,
was-
no distractions.
It was Transformers, probably.
Favorite
Probably
Transformer?
You don't have to
Bumblebee.
answer the second one.
No, the
Bumblebee.
correct answer is Starscream.
No.
He
Bumblebee.
disappointed you for the last time, and then never again.
No, Bumblebee just
Bumblebee
like,
was rad. And Spike.
got me. Like
Remember
I cried
Spike?
every time. And I probably even can't remember. And for when I'm older, anime.
Oh, we'll do that. We'll do
Yeah.
that one. We'll do that one when we recycle.
Oh, okay.
But I just
I'm
wanted to
sure.
say.
I already said an anime.
I just want to say Energon Cubes. Energon Cubes.
Is that Waspinator? Is
That was
that-
my
oh, right.
Starscream.
See, I have a hard time with this because, like, I didn't love cartoons when I was a little kid.
But that was always your favorite.
Well, no, there really wasn't. Like when I was between the ages of 3 and 4, I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as everyone did, or most people did.
Yeah, see, I was
Sorry.
like.
I did.
And then I didn't have a TV until I was like 8, and there wasn't really any cartoons that I attached myself to. So the first time I started getting back into cartoons was anime, and I'd have to kind of say my favorite one when I started getting into it was Cowboy Bebop, and I feel really cheap in saying that.
No, because it's kind of like I don't watch anime, but Cowboy Bebop is a quintessential beginning, I think, for a lot of anime watchers.
yeah.
It's a
Trigun,
gateway
similarly.
anime.
Yeah.
Trigun is pretty much the same.
Really?
No,
I'd say
Trigun's
it's
so
the same.
Japanese.
I'd
though.
say Dragon
It's-
Ball Z would be
Yeah,
more
Dragon
than
Ball
Trigun.
Z.
Dragon Ball
is-
Z, Pokemon, Digimon are like gateway animes. I
Would
would
Pokemon
say
be a
that.
gateway
No.
anime? Because I think you could watch Pokemon on its
My
own.
first
Yeah,
anime.
well, I would say the same for Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and Digimon.
See? My first anime was Chobbits, and that was my gateway anime.
You never
Yeah.
watched Pokemon, Digimon, or Dragon Ball Z before that?
No.
You're a liar.
I had all of the Pokemon.
I'd seen some Pokemon when I was a kid, but I never really
Gateway.
I don't
got
know.
into
No,
it.
I don't think Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and Digimon will gateway you into more anime.
Yeah.
I watched all of Dragon Ball Z, and I still am not a big fan.
They're
of
just
that.
And
cartoons.
similarly with Trigun, I don't think you need to be far enough into anime territory to watch Trigun in the first
But
place.
so many
just
people-
like Cowboy Bebop.
So many people who watch Cowboy Bebop go on from that and start watching things like Sword Art Online and Attack on
Correct
Titan.
me if I'm
and,
wrong
like-
here. Like the classic "I'm into anime" line goes: I watched Cowboy Bebop, right?
And
Then I watched Akira, and then I ended up watching something more obscure because I was like, "This is confusing and weird, and I like it."
Then I
Maybe some
watched
edgy
Akira
stuff.
4 more times.
In your case,
And then you go all the way hentai, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm back."
yeah.
Back to etchy,
gosh.
and then you dial
So
it back
Tias.
a bit more.
Your elder cartoon.
Look, it was arguably still The Simpsons. Like The Simpsons formed when I was a child, but didn't count quite as
Cheers.
a cartoon.
Arguably, it's still Digimon.
It was Digimon and The Simpsons when I was a kid, and then it
Don't
was The
lie to our
Simpsons
good
when I was an
audience.
adult.
Okay, so May,
Anastasia.
as an adult,
Yep.
do you have you had any cartoon shows that you've watched that no one else at this table would be a fan of?
I've watched a heap of weird shit, but I can't quite place it.
Is there anything you keep going back to?
Wait, does Dr. Bees count?
Not really.
Dr. Tran.
No.
Here
Like,
comes Dr.
Most
Tran.
of when I was growing up, most of my television watching was dominated by Hello Hello and
British.
like a
comedy,
lot of
I left
Yeah.
my
real
pussy out in the
time
wet, now
actors
in the rain,
and
and now
whatnot,
it's
so
all
I didn't
wet.
have a lot of cartoons growing up.
Yeah.
All right, my again adult one. I'm going to throw a few in here. In '99, little show called Family Guy came out. Don't know if you've heard of it. But
I think I heard you mention that one time.
but 3 episodes or 4 episodes of Family Guy were shown on Channel 7 in Australia, and then they never showed it again on Australian TV.
You mean Australians were actually... Sorry, Australia. Australians were actually smart once?
I'm gonna have a
And
snack.
For anyone outside
Yeah,
Australia,
yeah.
7 is a number that was affiliated with the channel in this country.
And I saw the first episode, and I was like, I like this show. So
They had a
then,
Star Wars joke in the
then
first
on my
episode, didn't they?
56k modem, I downloaded the first season
Perfectly legally,
Of-
like we had.
of Family Guy. These are 42 meg per episode. It was like the screen size was like this.
5 pixels by
It was
6
shitty.
pixels.
And I, from 99, after downloading it on dial-up modem, I started sharing it to all of my friends, and they started sharing it to all. So I don't mean to take credit, but I was the responsible for
So-
Family Guy's fame in Australia.
What I'm hearing is
then-
I don't
Seth
know, maybe not in
Seth
Australia, but
MacFarlane
definitely in your school or definitely in your town.
sent this guy a check.
And then and then after season 3, when they cancelled it, I signed the petition, and I just I helped get it back on the air. So Family
You
Guy,
fucker!
Family Guy was a big part of my life. But
Tom's gonna
now,
go get the axe.
now my favorite cartoon is Rick and Morty.
Oh.
Don't think about it!
And
Why do you like bad things?
It is.
Do you want to talk about
It is
why you like
so.
This is
so
actually
good.
an intervention. We're not actually doing a podcast.
I
Dylan.
love it.
We're all here
Not sure if
because
you've
we
noticed,
love
but
you.
the
And we
camera's
wanna
not
help
rolling.
It's just here for an intervention. Yeah,
Rick and Morty
it's okay.
is awesome.
We are rolling.
So, what about you?
Noragami, anime, Blue Exorcist, and
That sounds like a hentai.
Are you a weeaboo? Weeaboo.
no.
Weeaboo, 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 the bits, the bits, the bits.
Whoa! Leave the table alone.
I don't know.
That, I don't think you'd be able to hear anything because you're vibrating the bass, which is going to go up to this
Hypothetical.
Yes,
hypothetical time.
If you could be in any anime, if you could be a character in anime, I'm not going to ask you what character you're in, what character you are.
Oh wait,
but
no.
If
We
you
should
could
be ourselves
if
in
you could
an
be-
anime world.
if you could be in an anime, just in, what would it be?
Does it have to be anime or does it just have to be animated?
No, anime.
Fuck, I don't know anime.
Can I say Avatar
Akira,
The Last
say
Airbender?
Akira.
No.
Yes.
Alright, cool.
You know
I'm gonna pick
Studio
that
Ghibli.
world.
Yes.
Avatar The Last Airbender.
If not Digimon, but if so,
Avatar
Avatar,
The
The Last Airbender.
Right?
Maddie?
I'd be the mum in Ponyo.
So, I don't know what Ponyo is, but okay.
Ponyo Studio Ghibli.
How do you not know Ponyo?
I know.
I don't know anime and I know Ponyo.
I know House Moving Castle.
Oh my
And,
god.
You know there's 3 books in that series? You may be aware that there's a single book in that series, but there's actually 3 books in the series.
What about you?
It depends. If I just get to exist in that universe, then...
Pick Avatar, we can hang out.
Pokemon.
I pick anything but Avatar. No. I'd like to exist in the Bebop universe. I think that's
I
really
wouldn't-
interesting inside of Dark.
Oh,
Like,
you
I
know-
like how that exists, and like, there's a good level of like gentratic sort of movement going on.
And bees.
Oh my god, there's so many. There are so many that I
Oh
would
wait,
love to
if I
play.
had to be a character in the
No,
show,
no.
That's
You've
different.
answered. You've
Living
answered.
in
That's
in the universe.
Yeah, but she answered wrong.
Your answer.
No, I'd still be myself. I'd just like somehow eliminate Ponyo's mum and become her mum.
I want to be the Adventure Corps
How are you gonna like
From-
eliminate them and become them
from
though?
Portal 2.
You
I
have
want
to
to have a black belt and a lot of things.
So, Tally,
Like out of the last podcast.
what would you like to be, Tally?
I think I would like to be invisible. No.
You're doing a very good
You're already winning.
Nice
I'm
work,
already
nice
winning.
work.
No, I think I actually do love the Avatar world.
All right.
Nice.
It would actually be
We'll
pretty
hang
bad.
out, we'll go
Yeah.
bowling.
I'm gonna go with.
Hang
There
on
is a
bowling.
boat.
I do.
I'm gonna go with Zoid's New Century.
Oh, good choice. What Zoid would you have?
I would hands down,
Zoid.
Goodbye, Tom.
have actually I'd either have the Liger Zero or the what was the other one with the bio thing in it with that it was the
Berserker
bird-
Zero?
Berserker.
So basically, you'll have plot armor, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Whatever show you're
Tally.
in, you'll have plot armor.
No, I like the options
Oh,
of the like. Oh, you know what? I'd have a Liger Zero, the blue one.
Schneider.
Schneider. No, because Jaeger. No,
Panzer
no,
is
Jaeger.
green, Jaeger is orange.
So, thank you
Schneider
very
is
much
green.
for joining us today.
No,
I've
no,
been
the
a
Panzer is
Panzer
potato.
is green.
Yeah.
I'm Tally Hyatt.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I guess we're pretty much done here then. Thanks for joining us.